Today, I've got a ton of Sonic news, from multiple remakes and remasters coming very soon, as in 2021-2022 soon, as well as the first update from Zippo that he says he is 100% certain will come out. And Sonic Movie 2 news, not only about them filming in Hawaii, but the basic plot synopsis leaked, and that's at the very end if you want to avoid spoilers. But we now have all the pieces to that puzzle. This is very exciting news. And right before we get into all of it, this video is brought to you by Opera GX. Opera GX is the world's first browser for gamers. It is a tailored browser for all your gaming needs. It has GX control, which can increase your PC's performance for games while surfing the net, which is perfect because while editing, I'll have an unfathomable amount of tabs open, 12 YouTube videos, 8 podcasts. But now with this, I can do all of that while playing Sonic Forces at 120 frames. It has Twitch integration, so you're only one click away from your favorite streamer, me, which is a cool thing not only for fans but creators as well, as it has a chat functionality and you can get notifications about follows, donations, all that stuff too. It's got this sleek gamer design that you can customize. Plus, it's got a sidebar. Does your browser have a sidebar?
Didn't think so, bud.
With the GX player, you can put Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, all the music in one place. And when you start playing a video, it pauses the music and resumes when done. So, if you want a faster browser with a bunch of cool gamer features, go download Opera GX for free from my link in the description. It's the first brand deal I've decided to take because I think it's a really cool browser and I'm actually using it. So go show them some love and download it from the link below while you watch all this spicy Sonic news. I've got a brand new leak from Zippo about the Sonic 30th Anniversary Collection, and I have a relief of good news about the credibility to his leaks. Or at least some of his leaks. We also got Sega's yearly report, which includes a bunch of new information about not only the next Sonic game, but includes other remasters and remakes as well. And this is another series in the long line of internal Sega information coming out, with zero information given from them to the public. But not to stress, as E3 is around the corner, and it looks like there will be some form of announcement there as we get more details in Sega's report. And to end it, we got a few very big Sonic Movie 2 updates. They wrapped in Vancouver, and a lot of details are surfacing from that. Plus, new info about the big filming in Hawaii. And if you're even half as excited as me, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and definitely bell, as you won't want to miss out on all the massive Sonic news we will be seeing in the coming weeks at E3, which I will be streaming live on my new Twitch, Sonic Show Live. Go follow in the description as I'm putting tons of effort into making unique and interesting streams there. So first, let's get into the Zippo leaks, as they set the grounds for what we learned in Sega's report. Plus, it's a really short leak, so barely anybody, except me of course, noticed that Zippo put out an update to his original 30th anniversary leaks, and I covered it in my last video here. But now, Zippo put out not an update, but a whole new post that's actually much smaller than any of his updates, but a lot more confident. No,
I think,
or
maybe
here, just straight up, this will happen. So, Zippo says that Sonic 3 and Knuckles will be included in the new collection. He even drops a promise, which is serious business. There's a lot of reasons Sonic 3 and Knuckles hasn't been getting a port, despite the fact that Christian Whitehead built an entirely playable mobile version just for Sega to use. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is most Sonic fans' favorite game, and with how well the mobile ports of 1 and 2 went, and made Sega a ton of money, I'm surprised they haven't tried to do this earlier. The reason they've been so hesitant is that the rights to this game are really complicated, and I'll briefly explain. A lot of it stems from the king of pop himself, Neverland Ranch owner, Michael Jackson. A lot of you may know this, but he was brought into work on Sonic 3's soundtrack. Now, here's where things get blurry and divisive. Some people think he left due to not being happy with the sound capabilities of the Mega Drive chip, and probably not fully aware of how the music on the Genesis was made, as it's made with numbers and code as opposed to recording with physical instruments like he's used to. It also explains why the tracks that did make it in are basically just modified Genesis interpretations of existing Michael Jackson songs. The other possible reason is that Sega dropped him due to allegations that came up 1 year before the game's release. Regardless, Sega still denies Michael Jackson's involvement, likely for legal reasons, as not only does everyone know this, but in 2016, Huffington Post did an investigation and wrote an entire piece about it. It was confirmed by a lot of members from the team that he was in it, but they scrubbed all his songs, and that's what makes this dicey. Because if they really scrubbed all of his songs, then why are his songs in the game? Even the game's composer says he didn't write those songs. The only entity saying Jackson didn't work on it is Sega. And with the fact that the songs are in the game itself, it makes it really complicated to re-release this. And there's actually another group involved too. Ice Cap Zone's song is actually a track called Hard Times by the Jetsons. Ties back to a single man named Brad Buxer, blah, 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 blah. He worked with Michael on his own personal music and is a member of that band, the Jetsons. He is likely the sole reason we haven't seen a re-release of this, with there being rights issues with the music and the chance that the Jackson estate can come knocking on Sega's door, asking them to pay royalties for a re-release. This is a problem they just don't want to have. However, that's where Zippo's leak comes in. There seems to be a remedy to this, and it's unsure whether they came to some private agreement with his estate or are swapping out the music, but Zippo says we will be seeing this soon, which many Sonic fans will be happy about. So with that, let's get into the 30th anniversary news. We got Sega's financial 2021 quarter 3 report, that's a mouthful, where they try to be vague with announcements but have to give some details as the numbers just wouldn't add up. So I guess we got lucky here. Plus, almost nobody else has covered this in depth, and I don't blame them, because this is a massive read. It has 74 slides total, so I'm only going to show all the relevant parts that are going to make the Sonic fans squeal like pigs. So, one thing that looks interesting is when you glance at their forecast for the next few years' operating income, you'll notice 2020 and 2022 are some of the smallest for the consumer category, which is the games. This has been relatively low since Sonic Forces, with them getting most of their profit from resales, meaning there still could be something releasing this year. One thing to keep in mind is that while it has the year, the FY in the beginning means fiscal year. The number in the back is the quarter. A fiscal year is not equivalent to a normie year, and Sega's fiscal year ended March 31st, 2021. So, with the fiscal year of 2022 predicted as lower than 2021, this could indicate we won't see any game this year, or at least not one they expect to sell very well. This is disappointing, but isn't certain, as E3 is coming up very soon, so we'll likely get a more solid foundation there. And there's a lot of other interesting things noted in this report. In fact, maybe the most interesting, and the last potential bad news, before we get into the good news, is that when we see the new titles that came out last fiscal year, and see what they have planned for 2022 and beyond, notice you don't see the name Sonic. Now, this could just be because it's unannounced and they don't want to put unnamed Sonic project, but rather nothing. This doesn't mean we will necessarily not get anything this year, as all the titles on here have been publicly announced. And while we know a bit about Sonic Colors Remastered, it's all from leaks with Sega's partner companies, and we have not received any word on it from Sega themselves. One thing that I also find interesting is Sega's plan to break into the FPS space. I'm only going to briefly talk about this, but they want to make a super game in the next 5 years. And I'm not just calling it that, they really do refer to it as a super game, likely meaning something that has a massive global reachability, virality, and a base in which they can update and add elements to give the game an extensive lifespan, like Fortnite, which single-handedly creates Epic's biggest revenue stream. This is so far down the line that who knows how it will play, but this decision is clearly inspired by the rise of Valorant, Overwatch, and Warzone. This super game plays into their plan for the next 5 years, while they are planning within the next 3 years to expand Sonic, Phantasy Star Online 2, good luck getting normies to play that, Persona 5, Total War, and
朋友是一个坚韧
into global brands. Wait, isn't Sonic already a global brand?
Huh?
They also want to revive a lot of their past IPs, which is easily the most exciting part for me. I am on the edge of a stroke, waiting for Jet Set Radio to truly get some love from Sega. Crazy Taxi as well. I can imagine there's tons of IPs everyone wants to see come back. So let me know in the comments which one you want to see the most, because there's probably one I missed that people are literally crying over. And as the #1 source for all Sonic news,
Congratulations.
Sega is likely watching very closely, and you can have some real impact. Sega also talks about the platforms they want to expand to, which has basically all of them here. One of the single biggest platforms is Tencent Wii Game, a platform you've likely never even heard of, but has over double the amount of users as Steam. God, this company scares me. As well as all the usual suspects, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Steam, Epic, and unfortunately further out is Game Pass, which is slightly ahead of the literal non-existent Google Stadia. So hopefully we'll see Sega bring a bunch of its franchises to Game Pass that aren't currently there, but with how good their repeat sales were in the past year, it seems unlikely to me that we'll see many Sonic games there, unless Microsoft throws down some serious rings. Also, Sega is dropping Initial D the arcade. Let's go! One last thing I quickly want to get into before the Sonic Movie 2 news is what the majority of this report is about. And if you're someone who believes NFTs are unethical, then you definitely won't like this. Pachinko machines are becoming a major and growing part of Sega's business. On the surface, they seem fine and normal, but they are having a crazy issue with addiction to these games and are trying to make them as addictive without completely collapsing Japanese society. And that's not an over-exaggeration. There's been tons of articles written about this, and Sega actually touches on some of these concerns in their report. If only they could touch on 30th anniversary news. And with a business mindset, I totally understand why they want them to be as addictive as possible, as they will reap the most revenue. And you might be thinking,
Oh well, people aren't forced to play it.
and while that's entirely true, something still feels very wrong about trying to keep people hooked on throwing away their money with the mostly false hope that they will reap major rewards from it, which they don't. And they toss them small little rewards to keep them coming back and stimulate. This is something arcades do with prizes and tickets. But when you go to an arcade, you are going there to spend money and have a good time playing games. You're not going there with the mindset of turning a profit and getting rich by any means. The prizes at arcades are just a way to make you feel rewarded and keep coming back. And I won't go into this anymore, as many of you likely don't care and just want me to get to the Sonic Movie 2 news. But this is a topic I haven't seen a single person in the whole community covering. Now, let's finally get to that Sonic Movie 2 news that I know you're craving. The day I have been prophesizing about is here. They are now filming in Hawaii. Not Hawaii 5-0 though. This is where it's reported they will be filming Emerald Hill, but we just have to wait until some pictures get out to truly confirm that. From looking at their production schedule, we can see that they will be filming here for only 2 weeks. Now, this might seem worrisome for some of you, but if they are filming in Sonic's world, then it makes sense they wouldn't have to get too much, as a lot of it is likely CGI and will be done in front of a massive blue or green screen. In this scenario, they would just be getting establishing shots and any IRL character stuff. They have a casting for really muscular fit people and another casting for kids and parents playing together, which could mean this is leaning to the whole vacation theory, but nothing is set in stone just yet. And also, how could you think I would possibly forget Tom Cruise's directorial clone, Jeff Fowler? He put out a little photo, clearly teasing the background, which is the Mushroom World from the end of the first film. Spoiler if you're a hardcore Sonic fan and somehow waited over a year to see it, as well as avoiding the trailers which had a pre-finished version of the scene in it. Jeff wrote that they finished filming in Vancouver, something I reported just a bit ago, as I am the #1 source for all Sonic news. Hit the subscribe and like right now or I will hit you. And on top of that, Ben Schwartz quote tweeted this saying it was time for him to start recording his voiceover. So I guess he will be working working and playing with the writing to get all of his lines done, simultaneously to the animators beginning rough work on these scenes, before Ben finishes his part so the animators can go along and animate as they go to make the release date of April 8th, 2022.
Live from Florida, it's Sonic Show breaking news.
So, we just got a huge drop of news, and now we have the exact plot of the movie, and it seems a lot of my predictions came true. So if you're trying to avoid knowing the premise of the Sonic movie 2, spoilers because I'm about to talk about it, but it is very basic, so it doesn't really spoil much. I'm gonna read this in verbatim because it's short and it has a lot of details. After settling in Green Hills, Sonic is ready for more freedom, and Tom and Maddie, and twice really, agree to leave him home while they go on vacation. But no sooner are they gone when Dr. Robotnik comes back, this time with a new partner, Knuckles, in search for an emerald that has the power to both build and destroy civilizations.
The Chaos Emeralds.
Sonic teams up with his own sidekick, Tails, and together they embark on a journey to find the emerald before it falls into the wrong hands, or for Knuckles' mitts. Being directed by Jeff Fowler and starring Jim Carrey, James Marsden, and Ben Schwartz. This all came from a copyright claimant for the movie. Now, this is interesting because it confirms what I thought about Knuckles. I assumed he would start out as an antagonist and by the end of the movie be on Sonic's team. Very typical writing for this kind of movie. Plus, this is a similar theme to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which, as I said earlier, is most Sonic fans' favorite game. We still don't know how GUN ties into this, but I'm excited to see this in less than a year from now. I'm curious what Knuckles' motives are for teaming up with Robotnik, but we'll just have to wait and see. I assume Robotnik deceives him somehow, but this premise alone is enough to hook me. I'm in. I'm sold. But here's the bad news. Sit down for this. We do, however, now know that this is not Angel Island, and the vacation theory I had with the casting was right. I saw a lot of comments doubting me, but fear not, as I forgive all. All you gotta do is drop a like, and it's all good between us. It already seems like this movie will have a lot more going on than the very basic premise of the first one. And this is exciting, as I think this will be a more enjoyable film for an older audience than the first one had, with some major plot holes and more plain in terms of storytelling. This is gonna be pretty epic. And here's something interesting. We even got some Sonic Movie 2 news from Sega's financial report as well. So, a year after Sonic Movie 2 drops, it will be distributed on Netflix alongside Sonic Prime. But, since it's a fiscal year and not the January to December year, we could be seeing this movie distributed on Netflix by the end of 2022, or technically up until March 2023. We know Sega and Netflix have a very good relationship, and Netflix is willing to throw down some serious money for these movies on their platform. So while we don't know exactly the date we'll see this, I would assume either around the release of Prime or a few months after, we will see Sonic Movie 2 join their ever-growing list of movies Netflix has. And finally, we are on the verge of massive and official Sonic news, so make sure you hit the bell so you don't possibly miss out when I have huge news and the big YouTube doesn't want to show you. And you know what? Because I'm so generous, and I noticed you still haven't hit like and subscribe, I won't be mad if you correct your mistake and go do that. Plus, follow my new Twitch, where I'm streaming the best content I can as often as I can, which is almost every day. I've been putting a lot of effort into these and having a blast, so make sure to go follow that so you don't miss any epic streams. I also have a Discord, which is easily the best Sonic community there is, so you can join that too. I am so excited for E3, and I'm even more excited to stream it. I know I keep plugging it, but I'm really genuinely excited. So I'll see you then, and I leave you with a baller raccoon clip.